Story 1. The roommate who wasn't there. I was a freshman at a university in upstate New York. My roommate, Ben, was rarely around. He'd stay with his girlfriend most nights. So I had the room to myself a lot, which I didn't mind. One night around 2 a.m., I was up finishing a paper. I heard the door unlock and someone step in quietly. Thinking it was Ben, I said, "Hey, what's up?" No response. I looked over and the room was dark, but the silhouette of someone was standing by Ben's bed. I turned on the lamp. Nobody was there. I checked the door. It was locked again. I got chills but chalked it up to stress and lack of sleep. 2 days later, Ben comes back and casually asks, "Dude, were you messing with my bed? My sheets were all tucked in weird and my pillow was on the floor." I told him what happened. We reported it to campus security. They checked the cameras and found something that still makes my stomach turn. At 1:58 a.m., a tall figure in a hoodie entered our room using a master key. He stood next to Ben's bed for 45 seconds, then left. The school never figured out who it was. They changed our locks and tightened security after that. Story 2. The Whisper Through the Vent. During my sophomore year, I lived in one of the older dorms on campus. The place had those big metal air vents that connected all the rooms on the floor. One night around midnight, I was about to sleep when I heard a whispering sound. It wasn't clear at first, but then I heard, "Are you awake?" I froze. It was definitely coming from the vent. I said nothing. The voice whispered again, "I can see you." I turned on my desk lamp and stared at the vent. It was pitch black, but the whispering continued, getting more frantic. "I know you're in there." I shoved a towel in the vent and called campus security. They said it was probably just someone playing a prank, but I didn't buy it. The next day, the guy in the room directly across the hall moved out. He'd had enough. He told me that for weeks he'd been hearing breathing through his vent at night. And once, someone whispered his full name. Maintenance eventually sealed off that vent system permanently. They said it was just acoustics carrying voices, but no one could explain how it knew our names. Story 3. The Locked Door. My dorm had a room at the end of the hall that was always locked. Rumor was a student had taken their life in there years ago, and the university kept it sealed out of respect. One night, there was a power outage across campus. Our emergency lights came on and everything was dead silent. That's when I heard a knocking sound from the locked door. I thought it was a maintenance worker at first, but the knocking was slow, rhythmic, like someone tapping with a single finger. Then I heard a whisper just outside the door, "Let me out." I ran back to my room and waited for the power to come back. The next morning, I asked the RA if someone had been working in there. He looked confused and said no one had touched that room in years. I told him what I heard. A week later, the door was removed and replaced with a completely solid wall. Whatever was behind that door, the school didn't want anyone else hearing it. Dorm rooms are supposed to be safe spaces, a home away from home, but sometimes you never really know who or what is in the room with you. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and always lock your door.